Monday, June 16th is the Lion Channel. I'm John. Day 46 of my manifesting journey. As some of you know, or maybe anyone who's been watching these videos, I have mentioned a few times that I was a personal trainer, okay, for since 2013, so like 12 years, and I still do a little bit of training, but I used to do it all day, every day. Okay. And what I've noticed, like over the past couple days, all right, last week, if you were watching the videos, it was, I was feeling this overwhelming love. Okay. And sometimes love, love is great to feel love. And, it's a high frequency, it's a high vibration. I love everybody. I really do. But sometimes love can be soft, okay, as to where, like, I talk a lot about detaching, and sometimes, you know sometimes you gotta assert. There are some times where you're going to have to assert, like when you understand you're detached, okay, but when you know the right thing to do is to assert yourself. That's where that's where I have moved within the last 2 or 3 days. So, you know, being overwhelmed with love, and that soft, like gentle love, and just consoling people and empathizing is fine. But from when I was training, okay, not everyone is the same. Okay, some people you have to kind of stay up their ass, okay, in order for them to get results. You got to stay on top of them. Like, if they're not doing what they're supposed to do sometimes, and it's a fine line, some people, you'll do this too, and you'll get on them, and it'll have the reverse effect. Okay. But there are people who you kind of need to stay on them a little bit. And so you can only do that when you know what you're doing. Okay. When it becomes a knowing, like when I started as a trainer, how I built my clientele was, first, I worked on myself, and I created the body that I wanted. And I started posting my results, past results, and here's where I am today. And I started posting pictures so people would see the pictures and say, okay, he must know what he's doing to make that kind of a change. And it happened pretty fast, just like this is happening pretty fast. Okay. So I'm starting to realize what's happening here, and the shift that is taking place is that these aren't physical results. Like, you're not going to be able to look at my side by side pictures, but you are going to be able to watch these videos. And if you go back to day one of these videos, and you're watching now and you're listening, my life has changed. It would be like somebody being overweight, showing you pictures from 3 months ago where they were obese, and now they're shredded. Okay. 2.5 months this has happened. So I've gone from being obese mentally and completely out of shape to now I feel like I'm shredded mentally. Okay. And so now I've kind of crossed over from love to, it's still love, but it's more of a confident, knowing, assertive love. And if you watched my video yesterday, I talked about knowing. Okay. And you have to know this stuff in order, like, sure, you're going to manifest here and there. I see people on David's community that, manifest like little things. Okay. But in order to manifest something of substance, okay, like, you're financial situation completely changing to where you're able to do things and it's changing your life in a way where you're able to do things that you haven't been able to do in, 10, 15 years, where you're healing things, conditions in your body that have been with you for extended periods of time without you changing anything except for falling asleep in the wish fulfilled and changing. And then the manifestations start changing relationships that have been one way for the longest periods of time, for as long as you can remember, since you were a teenager. And now I'm 48 and I'm changing these relationships that have been a certain way for 30 plus years. And now they're the best they've ever been. I'm flipping them on their head. Not because my outside world is changing, not because people are doing different things than they've done before, not because they're coming to me. It's because I'm changing inside and it's become a knowing, and I know that this stuff works. And so my world is now reflecting what I want and what I'm visualizing because it knows that I know. And when you know, the subconscious knows that you mean business. And so it has to do what you're asking it to do. It's your servant. But it has to start with the conscious mind, and you have to make the decision and decide who you want to become and what you want. And then be non-negotiable and fall asleep in that. Every single night, it has to be consistent. And how do you get to the knowing? That's the other question. Okay, I talked about getting to the knowing, but I didn't really say, tell you how to get to the knowing. Everyone's going to be different, but number one, first you got to decide who you want to be. Who do you love? It doesn't even have to be one person. You can take characteristics from all kinds of people. Like you're building a robot and it's just write those characteristics down on a piece of paper and figure out the person that you would love to be and then start falling asleep as that person, as if you are that person. That's where it starts. And then you have to do it consistently. If there's one thing that's got to be non-negotiable, one thing that you do every single day that has to be at the top of your list, it's falling asleep in the wish fulfilled after you decide who you want to become. And there can be no excuses. None. You just have to do it. And your world will change. It will. And how it becomes a knowing is you do it, and then you'll gradually start to see your world change. And you can come on and continue watching these videos of how my life is continuing to change and get better. And that can help you, right? If you see it changing somebody else, if you see it happening from someone who is at the lowest of the low 2.5 months ago, and now here I am. Do I look like that same person? I didn't just wake up one day and say, you know what? I've had it. I'm done. I'm going to change. That's not how it works. That's not how it works. If that's how it worked, everyone would be who they wanted to be. If it was that easy, if you could just make a decision and say, you know what? I'm doing this today. But it's not like that. But I'm telling you how it is. So number one is that you can do that and just over and over again. The second thing is start watching for glitches. Start watching for glitches. Start visualizing, thinking about things that don't really mean that much to you, and then pay attention and become present and look for these things because they're going to pop up. Just like the peacock story I told. Sat out there with my dad for 15, 20 minutes talking about a peacock. Haven't seen the peacock. We've been here a year and a half. I've seen the peacock once or twice. I don't care if I see the peacock. What do I care if I see a peacock? I've seen them once or twice. But my dad wanted to see the peacock, but he didn't need to see the peacock. And 15 minutes later, there's the peacock. Okay, so it has to be something that you don't really care too much about. I made a video about Switzerland. I was just curious about Switzerland. The reason why the things that you actually care about do not come is because you need them to come. You're looking for them to come. Need and try. Erase those words from your vocabulary. If you're feeling need, or if you're feeling like you're efforting and trying, you're going the wrong way. You're pushing the stuff away instead of allowing it to come to you. Consistency, consistent application of this stuff will produce the knowing. I started April 3rd. We're June 16th. It's just now becoming a knowing for me, where I can come up and talk with authority. I don't know everything. I haven't read one Neville Goddard book. Okay, all I've done is watch David's videos and a few Brendan Woods videos. Brendan Woods was the first video I watched. And then David has a couple videos where Neville Goddard is talking. But I haven't read anything. I've just watched all of David's stuff. And I just follow his instructions, which is fall asleep in the wish fulfilled. And then, I do some techniques during the day. But I'm consistent and I do it all the time. And my life keeps getting better. And now I'm here talking with authority saying that this works. If you don't believe me, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. Okay, I wouldn't be making videos for 46 days in a row if this didn't work. I have better things to do than just make videos. I'm not making anything from these videos. I don't have money coming in. From these videos, I'm not getting paid to make these videos. I'm making these videos because I found something that has completely changed my life and that I want to share and help people. And if it's one or two people, which it seems, Brent, okay, he's posting every day. He just started falling asleep in the wish fulfilled, I think a week and a half ago. He keeps posting every single day talking about the same thing, how his life's getting better. He's 58 years old. His whole perception is starting to change. He's starting to see that he always thought it was the outer world that was creating his inner world. And that is the issue. Most of us have it backwards because that's how we were taught. We were taught to react to what was going on in the external world and change it as a hands-on approach, trying, efforting. But the way you change it is in here. You got to go in here. It all starts here. It doesn't start here. It starts here, and then you see that reflection. You see that projection. So if you want to change that, it has to be in here. And it's falling asleep in the wish fulfilled. That's how you change it. All right. That's it for today. I love you all. Day 47 tomorrow. Fall asleep in the wish fulfilled. Decide who you want to become. That's number one. Fall asleep in the wish fulfilled. As that person, as if you are that person in your bed, and think from the end. That's also very important. Think past the point. If you're trying to win the lottery, you don't want to think that you don't want to feel that emotion like you just hit the lottery. It has to be past that. It has to be, you already won the lottery a month ago and you're chilling with the money by your pool. That's where you want to come from the end. And act as if you're that person tonight falling asleep. And as soon as tomorrow, your world will start to change. It could be a couple days. It started to change for me the next day. It all depends on how present you are too. And you're looking around. You're not going to probably have the lottery win the next day, but what I started noticing first is inside. You start feeling different. You start feeling a little different. You start noticing that you're interested in different things. The first week, there wasn't a big shift. Things didn't start to heal the first week, but I noticed, I'm a little I want to clean the house. This has looked like this for too long. I need to straighten this up over here. That's how it started changing for me. I started working out, doing things that I wasn't doing before that I knew I wanted to do. That was the first indicator. And then I felt it changing internally, and now it's starting to become my world, and it's becoming me. I'm becoming that person. This right now, this guy talking to you, this is the person that I see every night when I fall asleep. He's no nonsense. And he's a motivator and an uplifter. And he loves people, but not a soft love. It's a hard love. It's an ass-kicking love. And so I'm telling you this works. Now just start applying it. Just do it. Okay? I love you all. I'll see you tomorrow, day 47. Have a wonderful night.